Hey, Jake's back and he's got his own show. He's on the mic and he's ready to go. Noodle on his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Woo! And good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, Bakers. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Wake and Jake. There are more good baseball topics than I thought. There is a nice NFL weekend slate, including some cool things. Zach Wilson comes back for the Jets, some other smaller things like that. The baseball, when I was coming on today, I was wondering if there was going to be Judge talk and Pujols talk. That's kind of been the running thing for a little bit. I had hopped on the We Got Ice show again with the lads, and they wanted some Albert Pujols and some Judge stuff. And I was like, I actually was laughing, and I wonder if it comes off douchey. I don't think it did at all. It's me and We Got Ice, as I wear basically a candy necklace for those watching on YouTube. But I was like, man, you're talking to genuinely a really good source to be asking. I used to copy Albert Pujols' stance. I do talking baseball. They were laughing because they're like, we totally do not view you as a guy that people come to for actual baseball information 3 times a week. And I was like, yeah, I kind of get it. Around the office, that's not necessarily the vibe I give off. I don't walk around to other desks and I'm like, Lars Nootbaar, really hot in his past 2 weeks, but maybe I should. We talked some Pujols and how great that was. Judge, I think is really interesting. The Yankees clinch. Judge still hasn't hit his home run. It's 7 games now? Or is it 8? 7?
I think 7 games.
Really interested to see the Yankees clinch. They do the celebration. One of my favorite days of the year, seeing the boys really let it eat. You can never get sick of that. And it truly shows, as fans, we ride the ups and downs with our teams, but they don't get to show a lot of the ups and downs. And when they clinched the division, and, it's been clinched in theory for the past week, they won a couple big games that they had to win, that it was going to happen, but they still had to do it, that they clinch, and they full out celebrate, and I love that, because sometimes the Yankees, they like to bite their tongue a little bit, and we're playing for rings and all that, but they let it eat for winning the division. Judge is letting his hair down a little bit. You get to see, every press conference I've seen with Aaron Judge since home run number 50 has been like as buttoned up as he can be, because that's kind of where he has to live. So he was letting it eat. Nestor's going nuts. Michael K on the call at the end, dropping the, loving that the Yankees get to, Vlad let the Yankees celebrate in his house. I DM'd K. I try not to overstep my boundaries with that. I told him I loved it. Not because I love trash talk, go get them Jays. It goes back to something that I credit Jimmy on, and it makes sense. And for a little while, I kind of got away from it, and this will make you, again, laugh with my outfit. Sports are fun. Sports are fun. So Michael K at the end of the call where the Yankees are about to celebrate winning the AL East, after the Jays before this season said, last year was the prequel or the trailer.
The trailer.
This year's going to be the movie. To have the Yankees come and win the division. And the day after Vlad walks it off and he's, doing this is my house, for the Yankees to celebrate in their house, if you will. So Michael K sends it's such a small sports jab. Like, it's not hurting anyone's feeling. It's fun. And that was Jimmy. He pointed it out to me. Like, the MLB Network shows, I would watch them a little bit. But, he said if you put it on mute and you didn't do any of the cut-ins, It looks like a politics show. It's a bunch of people in suits dressed up. Sports are supposed to be fun. And Caster on that call, I thought that was fun. The Yankees clinching was fun. And now they will line things up for the playoffs. And Judge, I'm super interested to see. Everyone was kind of on the he's going to sit today because they have a double off day. I think he's got a DH. We're chasing history. We've got 8 games left. Something like that. I don't know. I'm super interested to see because, yeah, it's 3 against the Orioles and then 4 against the Rangers. To burn a game while we're chasing history, where you could just DH him, 4 at-bats.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't know. I also get the double rest. I love double rest.
I get the double rest. We're past game 154. Last night was 154. So, there is something to be said. I guess if you want to double rest him now, clear the head, and he gets a home series to get 61 and 62.
I guess
there's a world where I can buy into that.
I get it.
Rest him again before the end of the season.
You're in such a special situation with Boone, and let's be honest. Like, a lot of times, the front office is making that lineup. You're in such a unique situation here, chasing history and what Judge is doing. You have to act. You have to read the room. Like, Judge gets a vote, but you have to assume every player's vote is going to be I'm in. I think if you're Booney, you would have to go to war today. And like if you really think Aaron Judge needs that off day to get the double off day and be ready for 7 more games, and think about where we're at, guys. 7 games. I know Judge has been hitting a lot of tanks, but a lot of players can go 7 games without hitting a lot of home runs.
Judge leads baseball in homers by so much. He just did 7, and I think the most he went was like 9 games without a homer this year. Like, it happens.
Everything's still, I think everything is still going to happen. I guess if you could DH him today, and, I could be proven wrong in a little bit, and one guy throws one hanging slider, and then that 61 is done, and you have an off day tomorrow, I'd like to think you run him out there. His mom's up in Toronto. I don't know. We will see. Very cool. The Yankees parties. They will be the 2 seed. They will play the Guardians and whoever becomes the last wild card team, which is going to be really interesting. And I've been drinking Guardians Kool-Aid lately. Man, they can pitch a little bit. They can hit a little bit. They have fun. They have speed, defense. Cleveland should be rocking for those wild card games. And Bieber McKenzie, that's a nice one too. Speaking of Tristan McKenzie, towing the slab. Go check it out. The other fun conversations in baseball, one we don't even have to dive into. Tyler Glasnow's back for the Rays. Speaking of wild card teams and Rose rotation, Tyler Glasnow is back. He's a gem of a human. A lot of you probably know. I kind of want to dislike him. Tall, handsome guy on the Rays. Awesome. Every Rose rotation of his is a must listen. He's got the Cole Tucker stamp of approval. He is just an elite human being. No other way to say it. So excited for him to be back, and that can change the Rays' postseason outlook. Like, when that guy's right, he's different. Let's put low expectations on it. He's coming on Tommy John. These are some of his first innings back. He's been rehabbing and all that, but I don't want to put the bar on him, but that should be exciting for Rays fans and potentially some AL funny business. Like, if the Rays are in the playoffs and he looks good, I don't think they're going to stretch him out. Yeah. But the Rays don't care. If he could start a game and give you 2-3 innings, that's kind of how Rays baseball works. So,
with the Rays, like it kind of always is with them, it's quality over quantity with their pitching. And
innings.
Just, we'll figure out how to get to the end point. If you can give us 2 good ones, we'll take that over 4 fine ones.
By the way, another guy who's shoving for them and looking gross and was on Pitch Ninja last night, Pete Fairbanks is back. That guy was pitching in 8th innings and 9th innings of big-time playoff games. Hadn't been around most of the year. He looks back. Rays, don't sleep on him. They're going to be a tough matchup for whoever gets it. The American League is set, huh? Like, Orioles aren't going to catch one of these other teams. So it's going to be...
They're seeding with the wild card teams that can come into play. But
yeah, it's the wild card seeding at this point. In the National League, the storyline is the Mets and the Braves. As we record this Wednesday, September 28th, the Mets and the Braves are 97 and 58 each. Unreal that it's gotten to this point. This is the beauty of baseball. There's some stuff that I just stumbled into, that this game was in Atlanta. I didn't have my Atlanta hat on, and BBD was talking about they're scared of rain this weekend because of the hurricane. Said that kind of weird. Everyone be safe. But, man, you talk about 3 games to decide a season. If you take 2 out of 3, you are essentially the favorite. Each of these teams has one more game tonight. Mets play the Marlins, and then they finish up with the Nats. The Braves have one more with the Nats, and then they finish up with the Marlins. So, with a 3-game set in between, Mets, Braves, all 7 p.m. kickoffs. I mean, this is your first playoff series of the year. We'll see what goes on with the weather, and, we'll see if there's, damage and stuff up there. I know they were looking into creative options. I don't know how creative you can get on this kind of short notice. And I don't know how creative you want to get. Because think about what we're talking about. These games are going to decide these 2 teams' seasons. And what are we going to do? Play them in Tampa if it's available? In, a kind of empty ballpark? I don't know if you could do that. Can you? I don't know. So, some funny business going on there that however and whenever they play those games, they're must-watch. They're the first playoff series of the year. I am on a fade-the-fade kick with that. I think whoever ends up in the wild card is going to be fine because I think the way playoff series end up working out, say if the Mets blow this and they're in the wild card and whatever, they go Scherzer, DeGrom. Let's say they win them both. They're nasty. They're good. Heck, even they go 3. Bassett, he gets it done. Awesome. Congrats, the Mets. Which I think they will. I think the Mets are a really good team. I think the Mets and the Braves are both really good teams. If you gave me the option to pick both of those to come out of the National League this year, I would take it over the Dodgers and the rest of the field. Bassett, DeGrom, Scherzer are lined up for that series. Fried, Wright, Morton. I mean, that is fantastic. And if we're being honest, I think I am rooting for the Mets. I know that sometimes confuses Yankee fans or people outside of New York who are like, Yankees, Mets, Yankees, Mets. I'm not that guy. If we end up in the same division, which we might in the next 3 to 5 years, then yes, then I'm worried about that. As of now, I still love the story with Buck Showalter, and they signed Scherzer. They got the rich owner. They're trying to not be the Mets. And if you get caught by the Braves in the last week of the season after holding them off all year, that's pretty Metsy. It's pretty Metsy. And it also shouldn't be because Atlanta is such a good team. They are stacked. On Talking Baseball, we did our position units, and we're going through some of the Fangraph stats and rankings. And the top of the list everywhere, Braves, Dodgers, Houston Astros. So, whenever and however they play those games, it's kind of must watch. I'll be slightly rooting for the Mets, and however it sorts out, I still believe in both teams. Because what I was just saying about the Mets, say that happens and they advance 3 games. So, okay, they have to throw Carrasco or Taijuan Walker in game 1. Not ideal, sure. Has Taijuan Walker or Carlos Carrasco given good starts before? Yes, a lot. And that's where baseball gets kooky. That say they sneak out a win in that game, and now you have Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett lined up. I've obviously never seen this playoff format. I'm kind of guessing and hoping, but just knowing how baseball works, I think the Mets or the Braves, whoever comes out of the wild card, is going to win their DS series because I think the series is going to end up flipping naturally, that whoever pitches in their early games is going to get lined up for the right games in that series. must watch. Pete Alonso's a star. I know we know him as kind of a silly polar bear. He hits home runs. It's, is Judge all around better? Yes. But what Pete Alonso's done, he hit his 40th. He hit his 40th, a year where offense is down. He has a 146 OPS plus, career 140 OPS plus, 131 RBI. Like, Pete Alonso is a bona fide stud. He's not just like kind of an empty power hitter. Like, he hits, and he's really good. I love me some Pete Alonso. I will be rooting Mets this weekend. Sorry, Braves. Sorry, Peter Moylan. Although I think he might be around. Do you know about this? I'm gonna text Peter Moylan.
We don't not a slight at the Braves. And I'm not gonna say you'll be upset if they do it, but
no, I'm not.
Vacuum.
I'm not nearly rooting against the Braves. I'm mostly rooting for good baseball. And then with a kicker of the Mets, just because it's been this storyline season, and I also think the Braves are set up for the next 5 years. That if the Mets could get one, it might be just like better for baseball. There was another team popping bottles last night, the St. Louis Cardinals, as they clinched the NL Central. They were toe-and-toe with the Brewers for a while. Even the Brewers had a solid little lead for a while early on this year. The Cardinals caught them and then lapped them. The Brewer crew felt like they were never the same after the trade deadline. I know that's a little unfair because think about what happened with Hader, and he was pitching bad. The thing I said all along was it felt like they needed to make one more contending move. If you thought Hader time was over for this year and you were making a calculated move for next year, which I get as a business-wise, you needed to make one more boost for this year. It felt like they didn't make it. They're a game and a half back of Philly. Philly has lost 3 straight. Milwaukee has lost their last 2. So maybe that becomes more of a dogfight till the end. St. Louis was celebrating on Milwaukee, so they should get a beeline up today. Philly's playing the Cubs, which, hey, you got to take care of your business, man. Maybe that becomes messier. Maybe it doesn't. Philly has the tiebreaker, all important this year, as they're not going to play a one-game play-in or anything like that. So they're a game and a half up, 2 in the loss column, which is essentially 3. So that's really tough. That's going to be really tough. Philly would have to continue to dig a hole, and Milwaukee would have to get hot, which they are not. San Diego, basically safe in the playoffs. They're 2.5 up on Philly. That's going to be really interesting if they can hold off Philly and Milwaukee. San Diego will be lined up with the Mets or the Braves, excuse me. So, yes, because St. Louis would be the 3 seed. It's similar to what's going on in the AL. St. Louis would be the 3, and they're going to get the 6 seed, which will be Philly or Milwaukee most likely. And then San Diego will have to
be 4 or 5.
Will have to either go to the Mets or Atlanta, which is a brutal draw for them. No shots fired at St. Louis, but travel-wise and just who the Mets and Braves are. I'm not saying funny business gets involved here. I don't think the Padres should start losing games to try to get that 6, but not your ideal draw. At the same time, they're 8-2 in their last 10. Soto is starting to go. The Padres starting pitching is no joke. I've been yelling about it all year. I actually thought I took their starting pitching in the position unit draft. I didn't. I got roped into Trevor's Brewers, and I think that was a mistake. Snell, Musgrove, Darvish. I don't know, man. Snell, Musgrove, Darvish with Hader on the back end. Couple other guys in their bullpen figuring it out, whether it's Suarez, Nick Martinez, Pierce Johnson, Luis Garcia. And then it's Soto and Machado in that lineup. And what contributions will they get from Cronenworth, Drury, Bell? It's so nuts Tatis isn't a part of this.
Yeah.
It's so nuts. Sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's a notable absence. Good. There's some good. It's going to be either the Mets or Braves. Some good NL East stuff with them and ending up having to face Soto in a playoff.
Right.
that's just good humor.
Old friends. The NL is a bloodbath, as I just told you. I'm buying Mets and Braves stock. I like that San Diego team. I do think they're outgunned by the Mets in Atlanta, but 3 games. Like, Yu Darvish can pitch 7 shutout pretty easily. Blake Snell can pitch 6 shutout pretty easily. He's been on fire. I was dying last night. My guy Eno Saris, because we've gotten to see a lot of Snell through the years because he's been, Rays in pitch limits, and he's kind of a high pitch count guy. He likes to avoid. He's not a pitch to contact. He's trying to strike you out, and that's fine, and it works for him. Saris tweeted out last night. Through 4, Blake Snell on pace for an 185 pitch shutout on what looks like about 2 hours of sleep. Think they let him go 9. Blake Snell has always had tired eyes since he's come up. It sucks that he's like a gamer guy because I think that gets labeled with him a little bit. And the fact 185 pitches, that's not happening in modern day baseball. I'm going to say that. So that was kind of the fun baseball around the horn that snuck up on me. The Mets Brave stuff is the biggest stuff to track. I guess if the Phillies keep just being a disaster, like, stop the bleeding, Philadelphia. Like, don't become a story. How about that? And finishing up on Judge, I said this on the We Got Ice show, so I might as well say it here. He's definitely feeling it a little. I know that probably sounds obvious to the outside world. I think Judge is so chill and cool about everything that he's up in the chill a little bit, talking to fans while he's on deck and things like that. In a way, I think he's reversing the reverse. And I'm being chill. Look at this. I'm doing this. He had a couple funny things on the field, which is good. Like, be chill and get through it that way. But he's definitely, and just like anyone in the world should, he's feeling it just a little bit. You got anything, Beebs?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Judge stuff. You can see him in the dugout, like trying to talk to teammates more. And
yeah,
not that he doesn't normally, but like something about it. Like, just from watching every day, it looks like he's making an effort to do that.
I think he's just got the image of, like, if he's sitting on the bench not talking to someone, just staring into space, like, that's kind of a bad look right now.
There's one the other day that he was doing that.
Yeah.
It was like you could seem like he was looking at the iPad, and it's like that's what he's supposed to do.
Right. Normally in a game, you think about your at-bats. That's what every hitter does. So we'll see. I'm interested to see if he DHs today. I've been leaning that way. It's also understandable if he doesn't. But, man, I don't know. To sit on it for 48 hours, not play, and be like, I've got 7 games to hit 2 home runs, like, that's not easy. Like, people need to know that's not easy. I know Judge has made that look very easy.
That's been an easy ask for him this year.
That's a hot streak for any other player. For any other player, that's a hot streak. So, I don't know. Interesting times. Excited to see it play out.